welcome. I hope you how it worked with me. I think I heard non-duality satsang.
I don't know if I can take this.
Can you hear me? At 97, I think. It was in a park, a lady from Eastern Europe called Neelam. And she spoke very low. I didn't hear anything. And it was like 4 of us, but I felt something when I was there. Yeah. So I went back the next week. They had it inside. I could hear her better. And I felt something again. I couldn't follow her much. She was very low speaker, but it didn't matter. It was the space, so to speak. Then I found a book called Who Cares by a guy named Ramesh Balsekar. That was the first book I got. And first of all, I like the title, Who Cares? Yeah, it's pretty good. And if you got it, you wouldn't have read the book, really. You could have got the whole thing from the title, saved yourself some time. But I read the book, and this is what happened. It stopped my head, because just like your body goes in a certain way, the mental logic goes in a certain way. And usually, hey, come on, sit down. Go. The mental logic goes in a certain way. And because it's going that way most of the time, uninterrupted, you don't notice it. But when you hear something that's different, it triggers like a speed bump, so to speak, or an aberration or a pause in the logic. Yeah. So I was reading, and I'd run into something, and then my head would stop. Yeah. Obviously, something continues when the head stops, which is good to notice. But the head, I would mostly notice the head stopped. And then it was sort of like a dog when it's trying to understand something, it does this little German Shepherd thing, trying to figure out what you're saying. That's what was going on. The mental logic was getting confused, because most things included me. Most messages, when I read Buddhism, I was going to be the one practicing the Buddhism. And when I did yoga, I was the one who's going to take the posture. If I did whatever, it was always starting with me, and non-duality was disputing that, which was awesome. Yeah. Which is why, who cares? Yeah. It isn't like you should care, which is what happens a lot of the time. When you're unknowingly, you become aware of some activities, the first reaction in my programming would be, I've got to do something. Yeah. So when they say you are selfish, and it hits you, oh, I'm going to become selfless. Yeah, with no questioning the idea that thinks it's selfish and now is going to think it's going to be unselfish. None. Never saw it until I saw it. And what assisted me to see it clearly was with non-duality. So non-duality stopped the head, and then the emphasis was not on the head looking for something, but looking at the head. Yeah. And then they would bring about certain, there was a book when I was younger called Cutting Through Spiritual Materialism by a drunk Tibetan Lama, Chungpa Rinpoche, probably an active alcoholic, actually. Yeah. But he was from this lineage and stuff. And the book was very cool, but the first paragraph said it all to me. It says, listen, first of all, he used the term ego, which I'll explain why I don't like the term ego. It doesn't matter, but I just don't like it. And he would say, the first page, he says, listen, first thing you need to know is that the ego is going to claim whatever it's going to take advantage of whatever it's introduced to. Yeah. There's chairs right here, Tommy, next to me. Yeah. First thing, before he launched in the whole meeting or the whole book, he just said, This is the thing you really need to know, that something's going to claim to be the hearer or the reader of this book. Yeah. And it's actually more important than all the reading and the hearing of the book. It's who's the hell is the reader and the hearer. Yeah. First page. And then he goes off. And most people just blow right through that first page and, get to the meaty stuff about how they're going to transform or transcend the condition they're in as the condition they're in. Yeah. If every condition you're in has a prior condition you're in, and you're attempting to transcend all these other conditions, but you're not transcending the condition you're in. This is the dilemma. You hear the idea of experiencing your own absence, and it sounds cool, but you want to be there to get it. Yeah. So the condition that needs to be addressed is always addressing all the other conditions. And these conditions and those conditions, these will assist me, these are obstructing me. But it's not those. It's this that's giving all the meaning to what's going to serve, what's going to obstruct. There is a prior condition that keeps dropping in to see what condition your conditions are in. And most people take it to be themselves, and therefore it's exempted from looking at conditions because it's not seen as a condition, it's seen as you. Yeah. But it isn't you, it's a condition. Yeah. And that condition keeps dropping in to see what condition the condition is in. So you got the object seemingly being in conditions, and then this false subject keeps dropping in to see what condition the condition is in of the object. Yes. But the whole assumption is the subject's not the object. But in this case, the subject and the object, you're neither of those. Yeah. First, you have to say you're both of those, and then it brings you to the arrival of that which you never left, which you're neither of those. You're not the object, nor are you the subject. Yeah. You are what they would call subjectivity, but the subject isn't the subjectivity. It's riding the subjectivity as an object. Yeah. So you think you are the subjectivity as an object. Now that was completely disputed and put to rest by a great Zen master, Huang Po, which is whatever can be perceived, which is the object, cannot be that which is perceiving. Yet, if you go in your head, listen to it for a minute, 3 minutes. No matter what the chatter is about, there's an assumption that's the underlying belief, which is whatever can be perceived, called Paul, is what's perceiving. Yeah. So non-duality is a negation of this fundamental dualism. Yeah. This dualism of a false subject attributing itself to an object. This is the epitome of duality, called, and when it's seemingly personal or one place, it's called dualism. Yeah. So the dualism of subject-objectness is what this message negates. It doesn't do anything else because it's not necessary to do anything else. If there's anything necessary for you after this, it will tell you. But basically, the stock version is you don't do anything. All you do is see you're not that. Yeah. And in a way, you are actually the seeing or the awareness of what you're not. That's what you are, literally. That's as close as you can get to what you are, is this: you are the seeing, the act of seeing what you're not. And what are you not? You're not that which can be perceived. Yeah. That takes a lot of shit off the game board. Yeah. What are you perceiving? Thoughts? Yes, somewhere. You're not thoughts. Yeah. You're not subtle things or crude, huge, heavy things. Yeah. You are that which is perceiving cannot be perceived. I mean, you don't have to go through all the million of, it's like a weird Monopoly game that has 30,000 pieces. There's like Eiffel Tower, Empire State Tower, boot, sandal, sneaker, shoe. You don't have to go over each and every one of them. You see, the falsehood of the boot applies to every other fucking thing. Yeah. You don't get fooled by appearing as a sandal. Wow. I'm not a boot, but I am a sandal. No, you're not anything that can be fucking described. Yeah. So do you have to go through everything that can be described? Do you? No. That's like slow walking it. The head would love you to have to, every appearance of a thing would have to be investigated. Is it a thing? Is it not? No. Yeah. This is why they give you these stock answers, because they include a lot of the exemptions your head will try to find. Yeah. Which is, this is dreaming. So don't worry about what's real or not. None of it is. It's dreaming. As real as a dream can be to the dreamer or the dreaming, it's not real. Yeah. Or you hear a weird statement in the Course in Miracles, if you're interested in that way of looking at things, which is causeless effects. What possibly could that mean? That you're feeling a real effect, but it's a causeless effect. In other words, it's not a real cause. Yeah. You make it feel real because it feels real to the body and you believe you're the body, and this is the reality of it. But in a sense, a causeless effect would be an effect a dream would have, wouldn't it? Like a tiger in a dream, and you're seemingly in the dream, that tiger can scare the hell out of you, yes? Yes. With a shark, and you were on land in the dream, scare the hell out of you? No. But if you were in the water, the shark would probably scare the hell out of you. Yes. Yeah. What happens? You wake up from the dreaming, you're not wet. Yeah. There's no tiger to be found, but you were scared shit when you thought there was a tiger and when you thought there was a shark. Those were causeless effects. The effects you experienced during it in a dream at night are causeless effects. The tiger that scared the hell out of you in the dream was not a real tiger. How do you know that? When you wake up in the morning. Unfortunately, it would be probably wiser if you could know it while you were dreaming, which is what this message is, really. The message is you start knowing that the tiger that's appearing in the dream is not a real tiger, while seemingly in the awake dream. Because we don't have a built-in morning for the awake dream. You don't have a morning that you wake up from this dreaming right now. Like Ramana would call it the awake dreaming. Awake dreaming. So what does non-duality do? It does it does what a morning does to us about the night dream. Do you have to do anything to wake up from the dream other than wake up to the morning? Yeah, right? You wake up to the morning and all that which was happening in the dreaming is disputed, not through a lot of investigation, just like a fucking sword cutting a blade of grass. You don't even hear it. There's no even resistance to the blade. Yeah. Why? Because you didn't have a strategy of how to make a tiger that seems real not seem real. You don't like, there's no like this. You have a clear recognition it's not real. So you're now awake in the awake dream, yeah, because there's no built-in morning for the awake dream. If you did not wake up this morning, you would be in a dream. If you were still sleeping, and most of the time, especially in the morning, that's when the dreaming, a lot of it occurs, you would be in a dream and you would be taking a lot of shit real that isn't real, yeah? Now, if the shit isn't real in the dream, but it feels real to you. Who's the dreaming? We're the dreaming of the dreaming, as the Course in Miracles states. You and I give everything all the meaning it has. We are dreaming, and we're now going to dream ourselves out of the dream. And as we do, the dream's going to get happier. What do you think this event is? It could be anything, because it doesn't have any meaning. But I see the meaning of it is we are right now in the act of dreaming ourselves out of the dreaming, sitting in satsang. And hopefully, but just by sitting in satsang, you're going to see over time you're traveling lighter to whatever the dreaming has in store for you. Yes? That's called you and I are dreaming ourselves out of the dreaming. So when it says you and I are dreaming ourselves out of dreaming, it means we're using the dreaming to dream oneself out of the dreaming. What fucking knowledge, better knowledge than that? What better knowledge of a dream but to be used to dream yourself out of the dream? It's right in the Course in Miracles. I don't remember it because I remember it all the time. I don't remember what page it was because I didn't memorize it. Its imprint has lasted because it made a huge impact when I read it. Yes? When I read it, that this is like the easier, softer way. So if you can't seem to blaze into a fucking infinite light right now, what you may be actually doing in this place of time and space is dreaming oneself out of the dreaming. And as you are doing it right now through this satsang, the dream's gonna get happier. What more do you freaking want? If you're gonna have to slow roll it, why not? Why not use the dreaming to dream oneself out of the dreaming? Yeah. How do you do that? You don't. Knowledge. The knowledge of what you're not allows that to occur. What you're not can't do it. It is of the dream. What you're not is of the dream. What you're not is like an imaginary tiger. But again, we don't wake up to it because we don't have a built-in morning for the awake dream. But this is exactly the same thing. Instead of being afraid of the tiger, we're afraid of everything, about everything else as this. Yeah. Hey, Noah, there's a chair right next to Tommy. You can pull open. Yeah. Everyone all right with this thing? Yeah, nice. My favorite pupils, I send some air. Rosalind, for my amen to you. So feel the spirit blow your hair. Look at that. So, some more over here. Yeah, he had a prostate operation. Let's cool that off. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's nice, huh? Yeah. So listen, you know it. If you had someone chasing you last night in the dream you were scared. There was anxiety, fear. Yes? Did that fear last? Can the fear really withstand the waking up in the morning for long? It doesn't usually, its effects don't usually keep going for the rest of the morning. It never makes the PM for sure. It never sees the light of the afternoon. Does it? Are you walking around petrified of the tiger you saw in the dream last night? Now, are you? Literally, no. So its ability to extend the causeless effect is quite minimal. We don't do anything about it. We just wake up in a bed or on a floor, in a box, wherever it may be. You wake up and the shit that was scaring the hell out of you suddenly doesn't seem to have the ability to scare the hell out of you. What's that? Did it ever have the ability to scare the hell out of you? No. It was given the ability to scare the hell out of you. Well, how? Because you were taking the dream to be real. You want to work really hard at trying not to do that, or just wake up to the fact that you're not that which was taking the dream to be real. The non-duality is so specifically easy. All of the possibility of trying to work like a 5-card Monte trick, yeah, just gets to a point and asking, who cares? Yeah, who is it that wants to master the dreaming state? It's not fucking you. Who is it that wants to get out of something that it's not in? Not you. Who is it that wants to get into something you're not out of? Not you. This is the answer. The primary question always is greeted with the same answer, not you. That's why it doesn't like to go into these, is there predestination or free will or this or that? It tends to want to bring it back. Well, who is it that's asking? Yeah. And then usually the whole hour or two that was set aside for a debate on that topic just has a very uncomfortable pause. And you're sitting there, wait, and then you want, let's debate that idea. Yeah, no, the non-duality would bring it back. Who is it that wants to debate that idea? If it ain't you, who gives a fuck? Yeah. Does your action figure believe it has free will? Yes. Do you want to spend any time trying to convince the action figure it has no free will? I humbly believe it's wasted. Not wasted, it's going to fail, and that's going to have value. Yeah. I believe what you're not and this appearance is a programmable thing. And you know what? It's chock full of its own programming already. There's no room for you to fucking do much with it. Yeah. You may be able to add 2 inches here, take in 3 inches there. There's not much to work with. It's based on a sense of being an individual, and the basis of the sense of the individuality gives it the sense of free will. Without addressing the sense of individuality, it's just fucking academic. Yeah, because when you go into Baskin and Robbins, you're going to feel like you have a choice. You're going to look at all the 28 flavors, and you may have been thinking, I want vanilla, and then suddenly you get there, you go to mocha. So you verified, you see, I have free will. What got verified? The thing that already believes it has free will. Why not move on? Yeah, who cares? Who cares if you have free will or not, really? Who gives a shit? Yeah. Has it changed anything in your life? No. Wake up from the dream. Does that mean you exit the dream? Probably not. But what you're going to see as you is not going to be you. And when it flips out, you may not flip out. And when it gets afraid, you may not get afraid. And when it gets so incredibly thinking it's so serious, you may be able to laugh at it. In my situation, K. Paul was a very serious radio station. Constant news bulletins dropping in, I'm fucked, something's going to happen. A lot of the weatherman forecasted terrible weather for the future. It was an incredible station to live under. That same station, which is predominantly a false news station with a little weather and very little sports thrown in, just became a Comedy Central station. Not by changing any of the whoever they're called, the announcers or the pundits, nothing changed but the audience. Yeah. The audience now sees it as a comedic event. Unbelievable. The same show plays. I can't seem to cancel it. Somehow or another, it looks like I have a lifelong subscription to it. So what's the best way? I don't know, not take it seriously? How can you do that? You can't. Can it be done? Yes. It's an effect you can enjoy. It's not an effect you can produce. Yeah. If you lose interest in the little action figure, you're going to lose interest in the shows sufficiently that the news aspect of it is going to be a huge parody. Remember when Jon Stewart did the Daily Show, and then Stephen Colbert did the other show, and he acted like he was a crazy fucking news person, but it was all parody. He never broke it, and it was hilarious. Yeah, because I thought it was. That can happen up in your own little fucking Idaho up there. It can. And then you'll see things because your attention won't be wedded to the story of you. You can actually break off easy. So if a hummingbird, you hear the little flying of a hummingbird, you know, they have wings that make a sound. And if you're really there quietly, it sounds like a 747, literally, in like an HO size thing, but it's pretty, yeah. Now your attention and interest is able to receive a lot of invitations and actually show up instead of being wedded to this fucking idea of you. It's sort of like getting married. You're already married as the two people walk down the aisle. It's not even an event. You already are. And all these things in the pews are looking at you, offering things, and all you can do is just walk straight ahead because you're now wedded to this fucking idea of you. Yeah. Damn the hummingbirds, damn the incredible art production of a moving cloudscape up there. Forget the sense of a breeze cooling your skin off, fucking taking a cold shower. You're just going to be directed like a fucking missile. All about you, the you that you're not. Yes. I wouldn't waste a second of time trying to fucking rehab that. I wouldn't. I would just loss of interest is the best medicine when it comes to that. You just start losing interest in it. Why? Because the interest is held and wedded by this idea that it's you. You wouldn't follow, you know, what's going on in your head. If someone else saw it for a little snippet, you would have no subscribers. Yeah. Your YouTube channel would just drop. You would have no fucking hits. None. And the same when Adam would be having this incredible, glorious thing. If I heard it as Adam's up here, I would turn it, if there was a channel, I'd turn it off. Yeah. But when it's cast as us, we follow it like a lemming over the fucking cliff. We don't. The attention and interest. And I'll tell you, the biggest you here is interest and attention. If you are a you, what you represent is interest and attention. That's what you represent. You don't represent this or that. You represent interest and attention. Tons of shit is trying to gain your interest and attention. Tons of stuff. Because once they have you as interest and attention, they can sell you something. Yeah. But what happens if the interest and attention had lost interest and attention into things? Where would its interest and attention lie? In the source of interest and attention, presence. What is presence but undirected interest and attention? Instead of you having a harbor and your whole sense of being a harbor is how many boats are there, and all day 90 out of the 94 boats of interest and attention leave the fucking harbor and just follow the self-centered story. Yeah. And every time you believe they're bringing a huge amount back, you're just more empty than ever before. Yeah. What would happen if the interest and attention noticed the ships taking off but didn't leave? Yeah. This is what they call abiding in the truth. What do you think abiding in the truth is? Your presence, the attention and interest, which is arms and things that come out of presence in this moment of time where you're reaching and going and here and there, picking up like the fruit in the Garden of Eden, apples all fucking day. Yeah. Now, there's a sufficient amount of that resting in itself. That's presence. That's the awakeness as an activity of stillness in the awakened dream. Yeah. is a sufficient amount of interest and attention isn't being drawn in all the stores that are selling the product of you. Yes? You're going into other shops, different curio things. There you go. Give you some there. Yes? Yeah. And you'll come out much fucking richer. It's like going to a strip mall and going to the same store every day. I remember we went to Amelia was looking for some things to get for the kids in Christmas. We went to, at the last minute, we went to the Petaluma factory stores. Each one was the same fucking store. Gap, Old Navy, some other fucking thing. There was the same shit. 5, 6 of them. What the hell? Why would you have walls and different names? It was one big fucking sameness. We left with nothing. And there was tons of shit in there, but you left with nothing. Yeah. This is sort of I'm telling you, your attention and interest is you here. In this event, it's you.
What do you think about this idea that the one thing that we do have a kind of free will for is staying with attention without going out?
I don't believe that, because that which has a free will is a sense of individuality. And what abides in the attention is in a sense of individuality. So that's how I see it. Yeah. The natural resting point, interest and attention aren't like, what would they used to call those the pigeons that deliver the mail, carrier pigeons. Our interest and attention aren't a fucking swarm of carrier pigeons. Yeah, they should be fucking lolling around and resting. Yeah. These are movements of attention and interest. There's no you in there. There's no one holding the rudder and directing the ship. If we're anything, we're a sail and it's the wind that blows into the sail that directs how or where the sail is going. The sail has nothing fucking to do with it. It's just catching the wind. Yeah. Yeah. So I just like the idea of seeing what you're not and let it just, you'll find out a whole lot just from there. Truly. First of all, to know the essence of something, you don't have to study or do an autopsy of 20 somethings, 20,000 somethings. You can see a similarity in everything, every appearance, by just looking at one appearance. They're all empty of meaning. They're all empty of meaning. That's why we give them meaning, because then they don't have any meaning. If something had a meaning, it would oppose itself on you. I mean, I was in an extreme accident where they first took me wasn't sufficient, so they airlifted me to a teaching hospital in the middle of Long Island. And I was in a ward with people who had been extremely physically damaged, either through motorcycle accident or something like that. And there was about 12 of us in that ward. And of course, they thought that it would be helpful if we would talk and stuff like that. And if one of us was released, maybe stay in touch with the others, because we shared a similar level of physical damage, trauma. Yeah. Now, if you watch the 12 different people with the similar trauma, one person became an alcoholic. The alcoholic got sober. Yeah. There was extremely off the board reactions to the same level of trauma. So this idea of trauma is the main effect. It's what's before trauma, which is mind, is the main effect. So mind can use whatever is appearing any way it fucking wants. Yeah. And I saw it. I saw a person who went down the tubes, and I saw other people rose like a phoenix from the same event. So you're not going to tell me the event is like a stamp. Everyone who's had trauma is going to be fucked. I don't believe it. This is, again, giving glory to that which comes after as a way of denying what's before. And what's before is us. Yeah. And I see it's the big mover and shaker. And if anything is given any power, it did not come from that thing. It came from mind, big and mind. And this is dreaming. And a thing is not dreaming. We are the dreamt. We right now, what I can see is dreamt. Dreamt, 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 dreamt. We are not the dreaming as the dreamt. The dreamt is not the dreaming. It is of the dreaming, but it's not the dreaming. It is not the dreaming. The mind is the dreaming. Yeah. Just like the Course says very clearly, if people are into the Course, mind projects and then we perceive. So the dreamt perceives a mental projection and takes it to be real. And here we don't have a built-in morning. Yeah. We don't. So the dream can go wild with time and space with no interruption. And then the example of what we're in while we're awake that is given to us in night gets completely neutered. We see it as nothing to do with what this is when it's completely like what this is. Yeah. So we get a free sample every night. The morning, there it is. The book is open to page freedom. Yeah. You're staring right at the fucking thing. And then you hear the bacon sizzling and then you're off. Yeah. And you do not, the head does not believe the dream at night has anything to do with this. It thinks it's an event in this thing called a day, but it's not the meaning of what a day is. Yeah. So when non-duality in a way is giving us a morning, that's all it is. Yeah. So what? So that you're awake to being awake instead of seemingly being asleep to being awake. The awakeness is a fact. How do you think you could become something if it wasn't there to begin with? Yeah. Awakeness is a fact. We're the living dispute of that fact. So I don't know why you think you're going to train this dog to have new tricks. Yeah. A physical thing is going to have a difficult time becoming a spiritual being. It just fucking is. It's like water and oil. Yeah. Now we have incredible expressions in the action figures. Some of them we call spiritual people. Yeah. And we have this story that we were made in God's image, but actually God has been made in our image. So we make Jesus Christ look like a left coast surfer with blue eyes and fucking blondish from the sun hair. Fuck. We wouldn't recognize him. If you've recognized Jesus, that you're going to miss him because it's just crazy. So, and then we make up a story. Oh, yes, we've been made in God's image. No, we've made God in our image. Yeah. If he likes you, things are going to go well, but he may hate you because you've done something. You don't even know it. Like when you're a Catholic, you have original sin, which is the level of mortal sin. And you can't remember for the life of you, what did you do to get the original sin? What happened? Give me an explanation. Nope, you're fucked. It's like a mortal sin. You can dig all you want. You're never going to dig yourself out of the hole. What an insane thing. Yeah. Is this a subjective experience? Everyone is at the same event. Some are better at getting more wind than others, but they've had a taste of getting the wind. Let me give it back to you all. Yeah. Yeah. Everyone's take when it gets typed out, is going to be a different interpretation of this event. Yeah. Have you ever been called back by the event itself and disputed? Did you get an email from the garage of Paul Hedderman after you start yapping to someone to bring you in and dispute your fucking take because this table was here, heard every fucking thing, and you know what? You're full of shit. Are you up? No, you know. The event just goes on. You give it the meaning it has. Yeah. Why is that? It's empty. You ever read like Mahavishnu, what's it called? Mahayana Buddhism. They emphasize emptiness quite a lot. What is that? Empty is empty of meaning, of any existence in and of itself. It can appear to exist when existence gives it a meaning. That's what dreaming is. We're in the event of dreaming.
There's a caveat I think, which is I knew Ramesh Balsakar pretty well, and I knew when I talked to Chogyam Trungpa in that book.
Oh, good.
And when I remember the times with him, that's satsang.
Yeah.
And that satsang is like what you described me. It calls me back in memory to that moment and neutral.
That's right. It disputes you. Yes, that's good. Yeah.
As what you thought you were.
That's true. That's good. Yes. I'm going to use that. It is. That's the dispute. Satsang disputes your fabrication of what's happening. And the beautiful thing is, it's not your fabrication. Why would you want to die for it? It's not yours. Why would you want to die fighting for it to be right when it's not you? Yeah. As we all have tons of opinions, they're not ours. Yeah. This is how you can travel lighter here, because it's in a dualistic event and you can travel heavy. And Lord knows we've known people who have traveled quite heavy. And when you think someone died at night in their sleep and that was a nice way to go, they don't know. They may have had an eternity of a second. You have no idea what the mind can do. Could you imagine if you've been listening to the head and then the last moment you have a thought and it is, you really blew it, and then you pass away? You escape getting COVID all those years or getting a tattoo, and finally you get tattooed at the last second. You thought you fucking were winning, and at the Well, how do you think a thought held as yours is a triangulation movement? You are now triangulated in a certain time, a certain place, and a certain thing. You are. The head triangulates. It's all day, and then we're presented to be here in this locale. Yeah. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah. Thought, boom, body, up there. Yeah. None of this has anything to do with us. Nothing. Yeah. I'm coming near the end, 70-something years, I hope, anyway. I don't want to feel like I have certain lines I don't want to cross. One of them is getting in the motorized scooter at Costco. I don't want to do that. Just don't. It may happen, but I'm going to fight it tooth and nail. I'm just not doing it. But
I'm walking into Costco.
That's a bar. And I know damn well if I go to Target and I go down aisle 7 and 50 yards from the aisle to aisle 7, there's a alien transmission center. I'm not coming back. I have sat in front of Target and counted how many people came in and how many people come out, and there's not as many people come out that go in. I believe there's a transmission center. Yeah. I think it's aisle 7, but don't hold it to me. I do. I believe they'll just disappear. Talk it. No one will know you were there anyway. Will they? No.
It's aisle 7.5.
7.5. They may be moving it a little. But yeah, so this is, it's a simple invitation. Even the other day we talked, and then the person said, well, how do I get from here to there? And I say, I don't know. I don't know. I don't think it's necessary to get from here to there. Because if you get to here from there, you're going to want to leave there to go to a here again. We had one of our first things was the old, oh, never mind. I was old. The first things was when, because the head works on here or there a lot, right? So I had this idea, the guys, I had a very nice apartment, really liked it. Everything was cool. And then I was reading New York Times, and they had a all colored thing in there about a beautiful couch. And I looked at the couch and I said, that's really a nice couch. And I looked at my apartment, there was no couch. So I started to feel couchless, the effects of not having a couch. And I was thinking, all my friends who have couches, why didn't they fucking tell me how good it is to have a couch? So I started having resentments. And then I thought, I'm going to get a couch. I'm going to get this couch. So I worked hard, saved up, and the day it was going to be delivered, and I was going to have a party. No one RSVP'd, and I was pissed off at that. Just, couch welcoming party. No one fucking showed up. I was very pissed. And then they bring the couch in like this, and I'm very stoked because I'm thinking, I'm going to meet a woman and conceive my first child on that couch. Yeah. A lot of things. It has a lot of importance. So get that fucking couch. I swept it, brought in, took the paper off the plastic, and I sat on it, and I felt fucking far out. Then I looked at the rug, and I said, I got to get a new rug. Yeah. So that.
Is this a true story?
No, it's not a true story, but it is a true story for many. So there was the couch, and unknowingly, my head was using that there to deny the here. Yeah. Very tricky to deny the here. And yet when I arrived there, what did it become? A here. So then I got to look for another there. This is not you. You're not doing it. You're not your own worst enemy. You don't hate yourself. There's an activity in you. You may want to call it part of you, but it believes it's all of you. And it wants to live a life through this event. Yes. It's almost like something is using the dream to dream its own dream. Yeah. And you don't wake up. You wake up from the you. You don't wake up. You aren't going to get it because you are it. See, when you say you're never going to get it, people hate that because they want to get it. But the great news is you are it. And that's why you're never going to get it. All these things that you wish so hard to finally succeed in, God helping you, they failed because you can't arrive at where you already are. So all the attempts to arrive, I hope, have failed, so you can see that. Every time things like this would happen, it would always whisper to me on having never left until I fucking got it. Yes. And I got it in this space of satsang. I remember the day that I knew I was never going to ask another question because I saw the futility of asking questions. Now, it may not be futile for you to ask questions, but it was here. That's all you're following. It's not no one needs to ask questions. No, they're very essential to have dialogue. But in this case, it ran out and I knew beyond knowing, fuck it, because I saw the futility of something constantly trying to reach for something, which was an act of reaching away from something. Yeah, I saw it. There was no point trying to convince this to reach this way to me, because it's mechanical and it's programmed. Yeah. The Course in Miracles says it beautifully. You could read 800 pages of it, but one sentence says the brain interprets to the body of which it is a part. How can you get before that and argue with it? You're a product of the brain. So the brain, before it makes you up, it's already defined to interpret everything and apply it to the body. Yeah, you're going to break that after it? No, you're going to be broken by it after it. Yeah. And humbly, to go over it, if Trungpa Rinpoche was true, if this sense of being a you, and I mean the sense of being a you as a doer, thinker, feeler, taster, toucher, yeah, that you, not you as a thing, but it's pictured as a thing, but it's not claiming the thing. It's claiming to be the doer. It's claiming to be the subject, really. Yeah. That claiming to be the subject, I think, is the fastest process in time. At least the time and the process we can be aware of, I think it's the fastest one. And I do not believe a process after it is going to affect the process before it. But I do believe the process before all these other processes infects them greatly. So this sense of being a self gets shot into the process when you're trying not to be a self. When you're trying to have spiritual recognition, you're trying to have it as a self. So I believe that infection goes through the trees of processes. And I also believe it's captured in one of the most important statements by his own hand, Ramana Maharshi, which is the presupposing of a non-existent thing being an existent thing. Yeah. So a non-existent thing would be a thing appearing, let's say, in a dream. An existing thing would be a thing appearing in a dream that's taken to be real, right? Presupposing of a non-existent thing. You did not do the presupposing. You did not. You haven't even come up yet. Yeah. Presupposing of a non-existent thing being an existent thing. Yeah. Now the existent thing wants to get salvation for itself. Okay. He says, this is probably the situation. And he basically says, it's probably the situation. Then he goes to the next phase, which says your spiritual practices in this condition are reinforcing the non-existent thing to be what? An existent thing. How can they destroy it? So the first statement is the first process. Non-existent thing taken to be an existent thing. The second process is something to change the first process, but it doesn't. It actually reinforces it. Wow. What will the third and fourth and fifth and sixth do? Pretty much the same fucking thing. So you're wanting to get out is reinforcing an idea that you're in. When you hear this message with a modicum of understanding, it should hit the pause button for a second or two. Yeah. And just see now when you start up again or it starts up again, you may see it differently than when it seems to be continually running. Yes. There's other seats too. There's one straight ahead outside. See it? Yeah, there's one out there. Yeah. Yeah. I try to give me a better example. It sounds like it to me. There's a presupposing of something, and then that something now does everything else to either get out of that something or make it a better something. And everything it's doing is actually reinforcing the non-existent thing as an existent thing, which is the essence of the dilemma. To me, that's completely disarming. If I was ready to get my spiritual weaponry ready, I just fucking, all of my pride of being a warrior, spiritual, was fucking dropped. Totally, completely disarmed when I ran into that statement. That's what I feel satsang allows to happen, is a disarming of all of these fucking misunderstandings and ideas, yeah, that are causing us to be described exactly like that. Our spiritual practices are reinforcing that which we would like to be destroyed. Yeah. So after that, should you be the head of the fire department where you run to the fire first and throw gas on it? No, I think you wouldn't, would you? No, I think there would be a demotion ahead. Yeah, just tell the freaking truth. And the beautiful thing is you're not that. You're not that. That's doing the reinforcing. That's the beauty of it. Your awareness, you always will be and you always are. This is like one like eye hair on an eyelid moving imperceptible. 80 years could be just that. Do you think this is really going to leave any mark other than in this? Do you believe this reality is going to collide with the reality and sync the reality? This is not a reality. You come and go here. You don't even remember when you came, and you probably won't remember when you go. Can you imagine if you were that important and you have, like Jesus lost what, 12 to 30, from 0 to 3 were our lost years. You don't know what the fuck happened. Had to rely on your parents. Who the hell are you? Wow, you were born to us in Amityville, Long Island. I have no recollection of that. Yeah. Jesus, 12 to 30, they don't know what happened. You know, then he only had 3 years get whacked. Yeah. Yeah. This is, reality would have a different tenor than this, don't you think?
I never quite felt right about that. Be in the world, but not of it. That's supposedly attributed to Jesus.
Yes,
Like,
yes.
that's the red letter part.
Be in the world. No, yeah.
It's still a little too buying into it, it sounds like.
Well, he's using a description of what we're all familiar with and then negating it, which I think is beautiful. So, yeah, so he says you're in the world and everyone can conjure up what that feels like. And then he says you're not of it, which is a perfect negation. So that's what I like. I like to describe what we're not, and then the whack is what you are. Instead of trying to describe what you are to what you're not. I don't believe that works. Because I think he gets caught in this fundamental problem of the presupposing of the non-existent thing. I do. I don't see any way out. So that's why I'm not interested in people who share about all we are and don't mention or emphasize all we're not. I just don't see it works. Yeah. It doesn't, fundamentally because of this thing that he describes and Trungpa Rinpoche described that something is afoot that we don't know until we know it. And when you know it, it's probably going to explain a whole lot of shit that you were getting bad explanations about. Yeah. And maybe the shoe will drop and you'll actually be able to hear it. Yeah. Yeah. I hope. So I have nothing against it. I just followed the old way it went with me here. And I was brought to this point and it was presented as negation and it just was the way it worked for me. Yeah. I just don't see the other way. I just think it allows more guilt and shame for not being so absolutely lovely as you're described. Yes. Yeah, just don't think that's a winning situation.
You know, tons of people do this neti thing for years. I did that too.
Yeah, yeah.
You go to the Vedanta temple and they say you're not this, you're not that, and you gotta go through a catechism of what you're not. But that doesn't have the dramatic thing that you're giving it.
No.
Like, hey, this is shit.
Well, yes, because there's still there's an affirmation of you subtly when you're saying everything else is not. You're not being one of the netties.
Yeah,
So this is just save the million netties and just go naughty. We're gonna change it. Naughty. We're gonna give an Italian flavor. Naughty. No, seriously, it's much quicker. Yeah, really. Do you want to go back? And then you netty everything. And just when you could finally do it to you, the oven bell goes off. Then you got to start again. It's just every time it gets close to you, an emergency occurs. Shit. Yeah, all right. So I said, Why not start here? And
Well, that's
there'll be
why-
no point in netty anything. Yeah. By the time you netty something, it's probably going to move on anyway.
That's why Ramana was considered like a breakthrough or a new thing.
Yes,
From
yeah.
Vedanta.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Because he said, who?
Yes.
Like you said, who cares?
Yes.
It wasn't like, we'll just go through it step by step.
I know. I know. That's why I like that camp.
The what, Ken?
Camp. I like the Ramana
Yeah.
camp that way. I'd rather be falling down a hill than climbing up a hill. Yeah. 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 It just works for me. If it works for you, great. But to me, Vedanta is different than non-duality in a way, because non-duality is just not two. It's just a negation of stuff. It's not a process that's going to lead you anywhere. It's seeing that you're a process, really, and losing interest in it. So, and whatever moved you to a point of relief, that would, I would say, you know the direction by the destination. Yeah. So when you get relief, you know the direction it took. And then you can basically reverse engineer it and tell you how it was. Yeah. But if you don't, if the destination, which is you've never left it, wouldn't be there, it would give no meaning to it. But because the destination is what you really were looking for, then you can see all the looking, how damaging that could be. Because what's looking is what you're looking for. Now, we have different ideas of that. We think what we're looking for is different, and we think who's looking for is different. But they would say what's looking is what you're looking for. Now, you could what's looking. You can't turn your head quick enough to see you. You know, what's looking. Yeah, yeah, but it's been working, so stick with it. Yeah. Anyone else? Anyone have a question there?
There's no hands up currently, Paul.
I'm moving into the light. In this case, I don't want to. No questions. Great. We'll end then, eh? Hold on. These people look like they're wilting a little. Let's get some air over here. Yeah, can you feel it? Yeah, oh, there you go. I can tell. See, I can tell you're getting it, Rosalind, because your hair moves. And I know you're not doing it. Try to move your hair, Rosalind. Watch your hair. No, I can't do shit. All right. All right. Well, we're gonna say goodbye. Eric P. and Vista.
I just want to know if you're going to Zen bitch slap that Rubik's Cube on your left there.
No. No, I'm gonna leave it alone. I've got some mala beads.
There's an interesting serendipity. You mentioned you were going to talk about the old Zen quote about first there's the mountains, and you were going to riff on it and say first there's no one. Last night I was going through old articles on my non-duality site, and I found the original quote from some Zen guy. It's I was going to have Saraswati read it. It's not important.
Saraswati is our voice now. Let's just do it simply the way we do it. All right. The way I remember the Zen was first there is a mountain. Then maybe through a lot of work and effort, there is no mountain. But then there's a mountain again, which I would imagine would be greeted with frustration and maybe a demand for more work to disappear the mountain again. Yeah. All based not on the mountain, but based on the first premise, which is first there is a mountain. What would happen if the first premise was first there is no mountain? Then when the mountain appeared, there wouldn't be such a drive to make it disappear. And then its constant reappearance wouldn't bother you as much because you realize, appearing or not, there is no mountain. Yeah. So the same thing you could use with the word self. First, no self, then self, then absence of self or getting out of self, only to be in self more. Yeah. But if you're not a self, that same behavior, if observed, doesn't trigger any effort to change it. Because you see, the truth is there's no self. Yeah. So you're not trying to get out of what you're not in, and you don't try to get into what you're not out of. Not based on mastering the appearances, but having a recognition, either first there is no self or first there's a self. Yeah, it changes everything else. So first there is no mountain, then there's a mountain. What the fuck? Move. You know what I mean? Drive around it. You know what I mean? Really? Yeah, maybe it's maybe you'll like a lot of shit from that. Yeah. So first there's no mountain, then there's a mountain, then there's no mountain. Wait, wow, thank you. And then there's a mountain again. Well, what else is new? No big deal. But when it's seen as first there is a mountain, a lot of work to make it appear not to be a mountain, only to have it reappear to be a mountain again. Yes, which leads to a frustration. Yeah, and then a blame of that mountain for all your fucking troubles. But if you see there is no mountain and there is no self to start with, it doesn't take the same effect. Even you go through the same 3 rhythms, the effect that rhythms have on you aren't the same, because you're clear there is no mountain. Yeah. And you know what? What you are is infinite. It's always gonna outweigh finite. There's a great statement they use in AA, which is this too shall pass, which is guaranteed for everything. This too shall pass. Yeah, so, yeah. All right. That was a short. I'll use it again, though, because I'm trying to get something across that would be categorized in AA as being convinced. So being convinced would be there is no mountain. So even when a mountain appears and does this and does that, and maybe stays a little longer than you expected, there still is no mountain. Yeah, very cool. Yeah. All right, Mike Clark, nice to see you, bro. Wow, I need this for a second. Hold on a second. Hold on. Did you see freedom? You just missed it. You see it come up? Look, my hair can tell you. A
Titanic moment.
This is a verification of my inner state. All right. Kathleen, just tell the truth about your seeming outer state. Don't worry about the inner state. Unless you're driving. Yeah. Kerry's taking a nap. Let him sleep. Don O'Connor. Now he learned he didn't have to go to a Vipassana retreat by going to a Vipassana retreat. We can all learn from Don. Yeah. We got Judy Lovins. I haven't seen a person that matches their name as well in quite a while. Judy Lovins.
Thank you,
I remember
Paul.
the mountain climber I knew named Jim Boulder. I thought that was pretty good. But Judy Lovins is pretty good. Jay, I'm getting around to it sooner or later. Yeah. Maral. Lori. Rico. Nice to see you, Rico. Bill Churchman. Saraswati. My infinite voiceover. That's good. All right, when I'm going to break any bad news, I'm going to use Saraswati's voice to break the news.
I'll do it for you. I'll break all your bad news, Paul. I'll do it for you. I'll break all your bad news.
That's good. Good. I'm going to hold you to that. Yeah, you may not be used much, but I'm going to use you. 1978, for some reason, Dana. Jamie and Barbara. Nice to see Jamie. Walter, as always. He's in another location in his house. Niam's the god. Wow. I like that. Niyam's the god. Yeah. Gary Clark.
Hey,
Our
Paul.
man in Placerville. John Kay. He's got the fan overhead, man. I can see it. Little like light show going on. Rick Rowe in Toronto. Vlad in Portugal. Vlad, I'll be seeing you sooner or later. Yes. Yes. David Bitterman, my traveling companion.
Traveling through Costco currently on my way out.
Oh, all right, Chris.
I caught your Costco riff in Costco. It was nice.
Don't try that toaster. It doesn't work anymore. The toaster
I already returned the toaster.
remember, it's the microwave now. Oh, that's
Bigger hit.
you may die before you wake up. Heather, nice to see you, Heather. Is it? Very nice.
I'm getting ready for a magic gig, so I could only be half of
Oh,
it.
good, huh? Yeah,
Loved it.
yeah. We expose all magic tricks, eh? Chris H. He's got a long vacation from Santa Claus. It's good. Got months. Nice. Roman Mueller. I'll be seeing Roman, I think. David, Chris H, Heather, Gary. I think we got everybody. Kathleen. I think I got you, Saraswati. Hey, thank you so much. I think I missed some people. All right, yeah. Paula, Fletch, Lynn D, Jules on vocals, Ben, Barney, Zoom user. Sounds like an old song. Zoom user. What was that? Dreamweaver. Dreamweaver, Zoom user. Chris D. Chris, nice to see you. Muchi Facet.
Thank you,
John.
Paul.
Yeah, you're welcome, my friend. Hey, thanks everyone. Dennis, Fletch. I think Fletch is in Germany now. He's becoming a bhakti. He's going through the door of devotion. Yeah. All right. Thank you. Thank you very
Thank you,
much.
Paul.
See you later. Bye.